Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another Warframe reaction. Spinrift had another one in the queue ready for me after we all lived together and realizing I'd heard that song. Now I'm not sure if I would have heard this one or not. The name seems kind of familiar, but that might just be due to the phrasing, you know? It's not the most uncommon phrase, but I guess I won't really know if I don't just jump into this and see what it sounds like. Maybe I have heard it, but again, won't know if I don't get started. So without further ado, let's go!
So it's into the void, now me girls and me boys, from mother's hands we go. We'll be sailing
so far I haven't heard this yet.
Voyage is done, then we'll be sleeping in the cold below. Sisters below, below, we're going where the winds don't blow. Yes, we're all bound
beautiful
down
harmony.
to the deep, and we'll all be sleeping in the cold below, below. Sleeping in the cold below.
Hell yeah.
Our sailing ships for the hard and the quick, we roll our load and go. There's a living to be made, or there's hell to pay when you're sleeping in the cold below. Sisters,
I really like the phrasing on this one.
Going where the winds don't blow. Yes, we're all bound down to the deep, and we'll all be sleeping in the cold below, below.
See, now this is a shanty. This is much more shanty-coded than the other one was.
High with the devil in his eye and a golden hand, I'm told. It can hurt you, it can hold you, he can kick you or console you when you're sleeping in the cold below. Sisters,
and the harmonies are very much in that area too. Very inspired.
Down to the deep, and we'll all be sleeping in the cold below, below.
Love that separation for the bass. I love hearing the step down of the vocals. It always feels so good. Getting a little more complex in here though. Ooh, okay. Kind of a bridge.
Oh, sisters, you so wise and true.
Yep.
When it's my time to go, won't you lay me down under granum crowns, and I'll be sleeping in the cold below, below. Sleeping in the cold below.
And kick it back in.
Sisters,
yep.
Below, below.
A little extra percussion. And an echo.
Down to the deep, and we'll all be sleeping in the cold. Sisters, below, below, we're going where the winds don't blow.
I love that chain in there.
Deep, and we'll all be sleeping in the cold below, below. Sleeping in the cold below, below. Sleeping in the cold.
The yelling. That's so good. They had that like chain texture in the other song too, but feels really good in this one.
For there's much we just don't know. So farewell with a kiss, then it's fast for the mist, till we're all sleeping in the cold below.
Hell yeah. Great ending there too, just leaving it nice and open at the end. It feels so good to resolve it there. Ooh, okay. So that basically just fully confirmed that this game is effectively just pirates in space, you know? Like Navy in space, seafaring people in space. It kind of given me a little bit of like Cyberpunk Treasure Planet, if that was a thing. That's a little bit more steampunk itself, but I'm sure you can see what I'm going for there. But yeah, like damn, I love that writing there. They did a really good job at paying homage to how they write songs in that genre and just paying attention to those harmonies, those separations, the way that the bass stepped down and then came back up a little bit. They rarely ever like settle in. I mean, that does happen, but usually the bass will go down and then step back up. That's just pretty common in the genre, and just everything else about the harmonies, perfect blends there, having that one note just being carried through. For those not musically inclined, that's called oblique harmony. It's basically just keeping the note the same as something else moves around it. There's also parallel, that's kind of self-explanatory based on the word. Contrary, same thing. It's there's a bunch of those. There's like 4, I think. I mean, I'm fairly fresh to figuring out how musical harmonies work, but I'm aware of how they sound, and that is something very common in this genre, is keeping that one note, that oblique note, sitting there on that while another one kind of takes over the lead melody, and it just sounds really neat. There's definitely movement there. The oblique thing is not like you stay on one note the whole time. You have to stay within a certain like set of notes to make it work with the rest of the harmony and the melody there, but that's actually something that doesn't get used too much unless it's a very harmonically sensitive sort of music like this, and like Barbershop is another one where it has a lot of that, because you want to keep those very tight harmonies on fifths and sevenths and just keeping everything really just close, you know, because you never want to move too far away, otherwise people will get lost. These are technically simplified harmonies. They're not really too complex. Keeping one note the same while somebody else handles the melody is a very common thing because it tends to work, and it works for people who don't have a lot of musical inclination, which was very much the case when this genre was first showing up and being actually notarized. So people just kept doing that and it became synonymous with it, and that's just one of those neat musical things I love about this genre. This is definitely more of a shanty compared to the other one we heard, which is a working song. A working song and a shanty are two very different things, but people tend to interchange them for some reason. I feel like it's just because people don't know the difference. So if you don't, a working song is kind of there to be a working song, something that is pretty much entirely based around keeping rhythm, keeping pace, so people can keep in time with each other while doing something like rope pulling, you know, like these very obvious things you would have to do on a ship, hauling, things you need to be doing together in time. That's what a work song was basically made around, is to keep time with each other on a ship so things don't get all fucked up. And a sea shanty is something people would tend to play either at ports or on the ship just to pass time, to tell stories, be it folklore or actual personal tales that some of the sailors had. That's just something that came out of it. They were like, hey, I'm gonna try my hand at this whole music thing. And a lot of the times people just picked them up and then they were played by other people, and then those got passed down, and some of them got written down eventually, and that became what we know as most shanties and such these days, and why people don't really understand the difference, because they would just hear music played and sung by these people doing ship work, and they would just all assume it's the same thing without knowing what the actual difference was in the intent and the purpose. So there's a little bit of music history there for you, but yeah, this song is really cool, and it has proved to me that Warframe is literally just ships in space. But I also think that I've yapped plenty about this song due to all the theory stuff around it, so hopefully you enjoyed that, and I think I'll call it here. So thank you all so very much for watching. Thank you, Spinriff, for putting this into the queue, and if you have something you want to request, drop in the comments below, or if you want to guarantee something like Spinriff did, you can go to my Patreon or my YouTube memberships. There's a tier that will force me to listen to whatever you want. I don't care how good it is, how bad it is, what it's from, I don't care. It could be from anything. That's why it's a guaranteed request. But otherwise, if you just enjoyed this video and you want to follow me and support me for other stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!